You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host, Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts, Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
You are listening to The Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, July 31st show. You can also listen to our podcast, Facebook premiere show, or show on our YouTube channel. In addition, for information on upcoming events, you can go to tinamitchellevents.com. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
It is a great day to talk about money, and that is what the show is all about: how to make money, save money, so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you are listening to our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. We are here to answer any questions or connect you with the guests that we have on the show today. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com. And now in studio, back in studio, a regular visitor is Kerstin O'Shields of Body Language Strategy. How are you showing up? Right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Kerstin, welcome again back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It is always such an incredible joy to come back and talk with both of you and the amazing audience that you have.
Thank you. Well, it's our honor and our privilege to have you back as well. So a little bit about Kerstin. With 30 years of training and performing in theater and opera, Kerstin has acquired an in-depth knowledge of all levels of communication. She brings in unique skills, talents, and understanding of nonverbal communication in life. She is the CEO and founder of the Body Language Strategy System, a training system for learning to communicate leadership and executive presence through enhanced body language and expression, messaging, and leadership skills. Kerstin is a best-selling author and works with international speakers, real estate professionals, and business executives in Fortune 500 companies. She speaks and trains internationally on body language strategy for business in keynote speeches and workshops for organizations such as Google and eBay Global.
Kerstin, you're such a rock star. I love having you on the show. It's always so interesting, so much information, and you brought it today too. That title of How Are You Showing Up is probably one of the most influential things that's ever been told to me in my life, because it comes back to you being responsible for you, and you can use how are you showing up in everything in your life, your relationships, your family, everything. I think it's such a powerful thing. And I know in this COVID world we live in, obviously Zoom is the life now. So my question to you is, how are we showing up, or how are you listeners showing up online?
You know, that is such a great question. And the beauty of that question, how are you showing up, is it really has taken a whole new life, right, in this Zoom world that we're now in. And I find that now I'm talking a lot more about what I call Zetiquette, Zoom etiquette, and what does that look like in all these meetings that we're coming on now virtually. And I come from a space where because I coach internationally, I have been meeting with my clients on Zoom for the last 8 years. So I call myself a Zoom veteran. And I found when I first started teaching body language, you think that would be hard virtually, right? But really there's so much that transfers because we still visually see everything. And that's a core practice in body language strategy, is as humans, because body language strategy is from the inside out, right? It's not just that, okay, when you flip your hair, it means this. And if you're tapping your pen, it means that. Body language strategy is a whole new level of looking at nonverbal communication. We're looking from the structure of how humans work, and then how do we actually produce that and engage with that with other people. As humans, we emotionally respond to what we physically see and hear. On Zoom, we physically see and hear everything. That is inside of your magic box, which is what I call it, right? So the beauty of being able to have this moment where no matter where you're at on the face of the planet, we can still connect. And more importantly, we can still exude and really take what we have to offer and create an impact no matter where you're at, to everybody on the face of this planet. And I think that is so powerful for people to embrace and take in, and more importantly, use and step into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Such an important topic that people know that how you show up on Zoom and or virtually any platform that you're using, you want to show up exactly the same that you would if you were in person. And
Absolutely.
so, Kerstin, let's talk about Zoom fatigue and why people can get so, it can be so exhausting. Now, I'd like to hope to say that with my events, it's not. I strategically do a lot of things to hopefully prevent from that. But I've been on a lot of Zoom events that it is Zoom fatigue, and it is totally exhausting.
It can be if you don't approach it with intent. Now, when I say that, there's some really specific things you have to look at to keep yourself from being fatigued and really drained from sitting in front of your computer all day long. Now, the first problem is you're sitting in front of your computer all day long. So one of the things that I always tell my clients, and I have chosen to do myself, and I was in practice with this before the pandemic hit, is I make sure I am getting up at least once an hour out of my seat from in front of my computer. Now that's really important because to the body, it needs that flow of oxygen running through it. When we're talking about body language, one of the first things we're talking about is how to be confident. Because you can be kind, you can be trustworthy, you can be super approachable, which are all the other pillars that we talk about in body language strategy. But if you're not doing those things confidently, you're showing up lukewarm in all of them. All right, you've really lost your impact that you can create in anything else you're doing. So confidence is that cornerstone. Really showing up confident really takes everything to the next level. And that's in how you sit and stand with your alignment. If you're feeling confident, you're actually creating a higher level of energy for yourself and for the people watching you. And again, that's going to start tugging on that emotional aspect because we emotionally respond to what we physically see.
So if you're hosting a Zoom event, my takeaway would be, which I have not done, and which I will because I have a coaching course that's an hour and a half for each one of the weeks. And so actually just having a break and having them stand up from their computer probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Absolutely. So I teach 3-hour classes. I do group coaching. You know, I do all of my coaching this way. And at the 45-minute mark, all my clients and all my people who are in my coaching know, okay, it's time to get up. And I tell them, I'm watching. If I see you sitting, you're grounded. Okay. It's time to get up and moving because the body needs that flow of oxygen, not only to feel better, but the body, when it's taking in the oxygen, most people don't actually breathe down to their second lobe when they're sitting because they're slouching. And that pulls in, well, that reduces your oxygen levels. This is when everybody's in their seats like, oh, okay, I got to move. readjust. So posture. Posture actually feeds your body with energy. It helps you get your oxygen moving. And your brain, even though it's only 1.5% of your body mass, it's a little tiny bit of your body mass, it takes up 20% of your oxygen intake. So when you breathe well, you're thinking well. That's what's going to help your focus. That's what's going to help your energy and your mental stability to be able to keep up and not get fatigued and, you know, really start getting that brain fog.
Yeah.
Most people are like this. Well, this happens in the slouching before the brain goes, I'm checking out. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. So aligning the body aligns the energy, aligns the focus, aligns your awesome.
And this is coming from our opera singer. So
yes.
Listen, yes.
and it's funny, every time I have Kerstin, and especially in studio, what you guys don't see is me and Tina are like adjusting ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I actually adjusted my camera once because I'm like, oh, I got to get my head closer. Like I'm like, you know, so we're all self-conscious of it. But it's fun and it's good for us.
Even
to learn.
more so when Kerstin is here.
Yeah, like when we were in studio, we were like, "What? I didn't know what to do with my hands. I was doing weird things. It was all awkward." Yeah, it was funny. So Kerstin, what about the number one mistake that you see people make in virtual meetings? I'm sure the same things happen over and over again, probably.
Well, so a couple different things. You really have to understand you're there to connect with other people, not to just watch the people Zoom. And the thing that people forget is you're a part of this and everybody can see what you're doing, right? Show up with intent, because we're going to emotionally respond to everything you see. And I think we got into this habit of, well, my computer's in front of me. Yeah, that person is there on the screen, but I can go through Facebook and I can send out this email. And I want to encourage people to consider always treating people like people. Don't treat people like technology. If you were to walk into a one-on-one meeting, let's say you're going to meet with someone at an office or a coffee shop, you wouldn't sit down and plop down your laptop, order your cup of coffee, start, hey, how's your day going? And then go straight onto Facebook. That would be crazy rude, right? So don't do it here either. You have an opportunity to make a connection. We are still going to emotionally respond to that eye contact. We're still going to emotionally respond to you smiling and responding to what we're saying, which is going to make us want to do business with you, connect with you, encourage that energy exchange to happen, which is also a part of why people get Zoom fatigue, because they feel disconnected. And that starts to bring down the emotional level, which affects the energy level in the body. Yeah. So be here on purpose, for real. Don't let yourself get distracted, because it really makes a difference. And we see everything.
Yes. So 1 minute before we take our first commercial break, and I'd like to ask you one last question. Let's talk about Magic Box. How can you make the most of your time in the Magic Box?
The thing is, you want it to be influential and feeling based. How do you want people to walk away from what they're going to see, right? How are you showing up? There's that question. Do you look professional and put together? Is your background aesthetic adding to the moment, or is it distracting from the moment, right? So you have full power in your Magic Box. You have full control. This is the one place you can actually step into control, where if you're in a meeting, you don't have control over what that building looks like. You have control over this. And again, we're going to emotionally respond to what we see. If there's a whole bunch of garbage, or it's a big piled mess, or you're all over the place, or you're going in and out of the screen, that starts to give us some that connection and that signal of, this is not a place I want to be. And we'll start to emotionally pull back from that, because visually we don't feel you being present. And I say that's the thing. Create everything in your Magic Box that helps you to look, feel, and be present.
Yeah. And for those of you that are working out of your bedroom, and I get it if you have to do that, put up a Zoom background so your bed's not behind you. I think that's probably what Kerstin is saying. And quick shout out really quick. I strategically put myself very close to the camera because I want to be connected, but I met somebody for the first time face to face, and he says, oh my God, I thought you were so tall, but you're not. I'm only 5'4". He actually thought I was really tall. And that must be because I'm so close to my camera.
Well, because you're taking up the frame. And so that's the thing is really, take up that frame, be fully in the frame. The little tiny head over to the side is really hard to connect. No, you want to sit and look like you're sitting at a coffee table with somebody, or you're sitting at a restaurant with somebody, and it has that same physical look and feel. So we have that same kind of emotional and connection.
Yeah, another conversation after the show, whether it's good. People think that I'm 5'7" versus 5'4" when I show up in person. But anyways, all right, coming up next on the Money Hour, continued conversation with Kerstin O'Shields, a body language strategy. How are you showing up? Right here on 1150 AM KKNW.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host, Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts, Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
You are listening to the Money Hour at 11:50 a.m. KKNW, the Saturday, July 31st show. You can also listen to our podcast, Facebook premiere show, or on our show YouTube channel. In addition, for information on upcoming events, you can go to tinamitchellevents.com. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We are here to help you build a strong financial blueprint 1 week and one show at a time. If you are hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. We are here to answer any questions, or more importantly, connect you to our guest. Please call the show 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com.
So Kerstin, we talked about some things that we could do to, or some downsides, some mistakes that people often make. Let's talk about the 5 things that people can do to improve their presence online.
So again, it's really about that magic box and how you're showing up. Always, always, always posture, posture, posture. I cannot say that enough. It's going to help you keep your energy high. It's also going to help you to vocally not get fatigued too, because the air can move through. It's easier to talk. We're going to hear you better, which means we're going to connect with you better. Really learn where your camera is at. We thrive on eye contact like crazy. Remember, the eyes are the windows to the soul, right? So when we're constantly looking off to the side, because maybe you have 2 different screens, which I've seen, but the camera's on one and you're showing up on the other side, it feels confusing and it feels very disjunct. So make sure you're aligning where you're looking and where your camera is all in one place. So part of that is your office setup. Take some time to make sure that's put up that is most effective for the effect that you want inside of your magic box. So that's really
we know real estate is location, location, location. How you're showing up, it is posture, posture, and posture.
Absolutely.
Kerstin, the how you're showing up expert. So how can you learn more about how to improve your presence online and in person now that we're getting back in person?
So there's multiple ways that you can access this information. At bodylanguagestrategy.com, I do have online courses that are available that talk you through all the different aspects, and we focus very specifically on the body language success pillars. There's 4 of them. And the online course covers each one of these with strategic video training and templates and a lot of background on how this actually works and what we respond to. And those 4 pillars are confidence, competence, trust, and approachability. When you show up exuding those 4 things, people automatically see you as a leader in your industry, and you stand out in a room. People notice you immediately. You're the person who, when you walk into the room, they go, "Oh, look, Kerstin's here." Versus 10 minutes later, someone going, "Oh, when did you get here? I didn't even notice you were here." Right now that we're getting back in person, we're excited about that. Let's make the most of that. So really stepping into a higher level of engagement with confidence, competence, trust, and approachability. And I am also available to do presentations. I do one-on-one coaching. I've had the joy of working with many amazing leaders in the real estate industry and in the Fortune 500 companies. So this is my joy to step into also doing group coaching, which is now coming up starting in September. So that, yes. And I'm actually exceptionally blessed to have this amazing partnership that has now started with Locals Give Back. Locals Give Back is a national female-owned company that is actually based out of Maple Valley, Washington, where I'm from. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And they have created this exceptional program that gives back and is a huge win for everybody involved. So I am partnering with them. And what we do is they are a Viavent, the home security company. They're an authorized dealer. And a lot of the home security companies, they will give agents or other referral partners a referral fee. right? When they make a transaction. At Locals Give Back, because they're an authorized dealer, we're doing it differently. What we're doing, because we want to give back and we want to uplift the community as much as we can, we're taking that and we pull it apart. And when the agent, as a referral partner, sends a lead, instead of it going straight to an agent, what we've done is we've partnered with local groups that are helping domestic violence survivors and single parent families. And we are bringing them in and training them as the phone lead. So they take the lead, they will connect it with the agent, and they get a cut. They get that part of that referral fee from that transaction. And then another part of that referral actually goes towards someone like me coming in, and I am coaching these people who are now stepping in out of a horrible part of their life to step into a higher level for themselves and for their families. And I'm coaching them on the professionalism to take their life to the next level and how they're showing up. And this is just such an amazing opportunity because it's a win-win-win across everybody up levels together. And that's what I love about Locals Give Back. It's not about, this one part is just going to do great. They're going to get, they're going to make lots of money off this. No, it's about making it wonderful and a win for everybody. So this is also, it's incredible.
Yeah, that is so awesome. I mean, if we can find an opportunity to give back and, with our business, especially something we're passionate about, that's fantastic. So that's awesome. Now, Kerstin, I've had the pleasure of being in events with you and seeing you in action. And there's no doubt about it that you are an expert of body language, your presence and how you come in, and even watching you around your family. There's a video I watched of you dancing, and you were just tearing it up like no other. It was fantastic. And so you just exude this confidence wherever you go. And I appreciate that so much about you. So for our listeners, what advice would you give them so they can show more of that leadership quality in their body language?
I think it's really stepping into your purpose with what I call tangible presence. It's not about being perfect. Being perfect is gross. It's fake. It feels, no one likes to be around that really plastic type of person who's trying to be perfect. We all want to connect. And I think that's the beauty that we've all learned about ourselves through this pandemic experience is connection is so important. And we want authentic connections. So showing up with your true energy of who you are. And like I said, I love to dance. I have horrified my children in the middle of Disneyland, starting to bust loose, getting down, and I loved every minute of it. So I don't walk around, flipping my hair like I'm all that. I show up with joy with everything I do. And that's what I want to give permission to everybody with stepping into their highest level of their greatness, really creating a space where they can create amazing, authentic connections and up-level their life, not only in their business, but in everything they do.
Because it is true that we are not going to be perfect for everyone. However, our perfect clients and our perfect business partners are out there. They are connecting to your authentic and your unique self. That's how you find them, is being that authentic and unique self. So thank you for that, that shout out. So Kerstin, you shared about the partnership with Locals Give Back. How else are you contributing to the community?
Well, the beautiful part about that whole situation with Locals Give Back is actually we've decided we want to contribute to our referral partners in the real estate industry. So we just agreed, I'm actually going to create a coaching program specifically for our referral partners in the real estate industry that is going to connect them to a higher level of business. Because again, it's win-win-win. So I've been so blessed. So I would love to connect with other real estate agents to help them learn how they can be a part of this coaching that actually Locals Give Back, because they're partnering with me, is paying for part of their coaching. And this is the high level executive coaching that I'm doing with Google, that I've done with Global eBay, of really stepping into your greatness and everything that you can offer to your team and also to everybody who is a part of this partnership. And I've been incredibly blessed. It's so incredibly blessed. I've also had the opportunity to contribute to a book that just came out this last month called Impact. And it's actually a book of acronyms. It's the first book of its kind. And it was a friend of mine who is amazing, Jen Duplessis. She gathered over 31 authors together who are high leaders in the business and mentoring world. And she asked us each to contribute a chapter of acronyms. What are the acronyms that we use in our business or that we use in our mentoring and share? And so it is a book of wisdom of all these different acronyms that are there to help you step into a higher level of what you have to offer. And the book itself is actually an acronym. IMPACT stands for Inspiring Motivational Powerful Acronyms for Cognitive Thinking.
I can't wait to read it.
Oh my gosh, it's such a good book. And I mean, these are high level contributors. We have Alex Stern, who is one of the co-founders of Constant Contact. We have Rob Angel, who is the creator of Pictionary, who is actually from the Seattle area. He's a Washington local. And so, I mean, big, high, and many, many more, and really good information. And it's a really easy read because every chapter is a different author and a different acronym. So I would highly recommend. That was such a beautiful thing for me to be invited and to be able to contribute, what I do in body language and talk about that at a really detailed level, to be able to share that wisdom in this book.
That is so cool. One of my favorites is false expectations appearing real. Fear.
Right.
I don't know who said it, but it's stuck in my brain and I love it. It's so cool. So there's probably a million of those in there. I'm excited to check that out. Really quick answer, or should we go to break, Tina?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Since we still have Kerstin here for the rest of the show, coming up next on the Money Hour, our continued conversation with Kerstin O'Shields of Body Language Strategy. How are you showing up? Right here on 1150 AM KKNW.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
You are listening to the Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, July 31st show. You can also listen to our podcast, Facebook premiere show, or our show on our YouTube channel. In addition, for more information on upcoming events, please visit TinaMitchellEvents.com. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We bring into studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything regarding your money. We are here to help you in today's economy. And now our continued conversation with Kerstin O'Shields of Body Language Strategy. How are you showing up? Right here on 1150 AM KKNW.
Well, Kerstin, we never want to cut your answer short because you have so much good information that we want to get the whole spiel here. So I'm glad we did that little cut to break there. So how do I know, and I'm sure everybody else is curious as well, if I'm conveying confident or I can't talk right now. Confidence. I got it. Confidence with my posture.
The main thing, and I just had this question recently in one of the trainings I was doing, what's the difference between looking confident, if you're thinking about using good posture, right? And maybe taking that too far into being overbearing, right? Because you can stand really tall, but sometimes that can look aggressive. And the main thing I say is learning to actually exist on your center. So it's learning where that is in your body, because what that allows you to do is you are fully in your own power. You are exuding and you're creating and you're owning your own space in your space without taking over someone else's, but still leaving room and invitation for them to be there with you. The beauty of this is now we're stepping into a mutual respect without even having to say a word. And I'm always walking around tall, Keelan, like you said, you always see me walking with confidence, no matter what I'm doing. Yeah. And people find me inviting. And I'm tall. I'm 5'9", I'm usually in heels. So I'm usually around 6 foot because I'm always walking around in heels. But people don't find me overbearing. They find me inviting. But it's because I really truly stay in my own space. I stay in my own power. I exude my power, which really gives people that moment to go, this feels really good. This feels like I could have a really deep, fun, friendly conversation. And that's where you anchor your conversations in an authentic space.
Yeah. And so, Kerstin, I would imagine it's a little bit different than what we learn when we're always in person, that mirror the person that you're with, because would it be an accurate statement to state that you're not going to mirror how somebody's showing up on video? Because in person, if they're a little bit more like this, you know, they kind of say to mirror, but really when virtual, you really need to stand in your own space in that magic box. Would that be correct or incorrect?
You know, I think we're at the point in society where we get to grow past mirroring. And I don't think when you're mirroring, and this is my personal feeling on it, my personal teaching on it, I don't think you're being authentic, right? Why are you going to mirror what someone else is doing when you have your own thing to offer? And if you're going to be the one to stay and stand confidently, why not invite other people to do the same? And so our mantra at Body Language Strategy is what you reflect out is what is reflected back to you. And if you're waiting for a response and you're going into that reflection, you're really too late. You are giving up that aspect of being the one to create the impact and the influence in the outcome of that moment. So I say, and my teaching and my philosophy is really exude your authentic power and let people enjoy that, let them feel invited into that. And that gives you the opportunity to respect and show and feel invited to what they have to offer too. We're all unique. We're all beautiful. Why do we need to mirror each other? Why don't we all step in to who we truly are in front of each other?
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, Kerstin, I think it's the same with salespeople too. You know, I think we're so past that. Once you smell that, like, kind of, we've all had the slimy sales guy, right? Just be your authentic self in life. Like, I don't sell anybody mortgages. I make friends, and I'm just very transparent, and I care about people, and that's my authentic self. And it comes through. And as soon as somebody says like the penalty close or something to me, and I'm like, ooh, no. Because we're past that. So get over it, people. There's no hard selling anymore. Just be your good authentic self. And I couldn't agree more. And the word I was stumbling over from confidence was competence. So I'm going to dive into that one. Does your competence put others at ease?
You know, this is the one that's talked about the least and has a huge, huge impact on conversations and interactions, because it's about your fluidity of how you're showing up. When you show up with fluidity in your body, you're showing you have more control and intent with your movement. And it's also fluidity in your voice. Now, obviously, as an opera singer, this is where I shine and I excel. And because I'm also a breathing expert, I'm an international diction coach. This is where I spend a lot of time with my clients. And I would love to see this talked about more. When you speak well, when you move well, off of good posture, always. Okay. People now, they see you at an elite level, not elitist, right? They see you at a higher level. You're existing at a higher level. And because we emotionally respond to what we physically see and hear, we're now going to stamp, well, obviously mentally, they are operating at a higher level. So we buy into what you're saying at a higher level. This switches that energy from chase. Well, here, I have to convince you of everything I'm saying. Well, here, let me say it faster. Let me give you more. And all of a sudden we just feel verbally vomited on, right? And it's too much. When we slow down, when we take our time, when we use good tone and inflection, and we're purposeful with our emotions, now people are able to take it in, they can download it, and they can believe in it. So just slowing down a little bit is usually what the majority of people need, or people who are existing at a little bit lower energy level. Maybe bring it up just a little bit. Find that natural space of fluidity in your voice and in your body.
Yeah.
And you're going to find you're actually going to physically save yourself time with how much you have to talk through your information. People are, let's talk about, okay, let me explain this again. All those things go away, and we know time is money. So if you're saving yourself that time, you're saving yourself a lot of money, and you're creating a better partnership.
Yes. And make sure that your expressions match the words that you're saying.
Absolutely.
If you're saying something joyful, have that great smile on your face. If you're saying something that's not as joyful, you don't have to be stern, but make sure that you don't have the smile that you would have, because otherwise that's going to give the wrong impression. And obviously then it's not authentic to your messaging. So
I think that was one of the biggest eye openers for people in this new Zoom existence, because now they can actually see what they look like when they're talking. It was all of a sudden uh-oh, that's not what I thought people were seeing. So there's a lot more light bulbs going off of, maybe I'm not showing up how I think I'm showing up. Big eye openers with that.
Yeah, so true. What another huge benefit that came out of the pandemic.
Absolutely.
So, Kerstin, do others see trust as the first impression of you?
They do with me. And I will have people come up and sit next to me. And next thing you know, I know half of their life story because I open myself. I give open invitation with my body language. If someone comes up and sits next to me, I don't sit back and cross my arms, which unfortunately is somewhat commonplace these days. And people wonder why. Well, I don't really feel like I can connect with people. Are you actually opening up invitation for people to have space around you and for you to actually look trustworthy? Because from the front of the body, this right here in our torso is where we have the most of our vital organs with the least amount of bone coverage, right? If you get stuck with something in the torso, it could be very fatal and very dangerous. So when we open the front part of our body and just keep the shoulders back, we keep the arms open. I'm not saying you got to walk with your arms straight out all the time, because that would be awkward. But most of your motions are opening, and you're creating space for that person to be around you where it's comfortable. Now, that's an unspoken social cue of, I'm going to trust you with this space. And because what we reflect out is what's reflected back to us, now that transfers into, I think, I feel like this person's trustworthy.
I think every time we have you, Kerstin, it's so cool to me. And our brains are amazing machines. The amount of information we pick up without words, and I mean, just these small little cues that you might not even realize you're picking up, is all based on science and unbelievable. How, in your opinion, does body language affect who we decide to do business with? I know how I feel about that. In certain experiences, you have that awkward guy and you're like, I'm just not feeling cool about this. Like, how do you feel about that, and who we decide to do business with?
The thing about it is how we show up, right? We're always back to that question. That's the permission that we give to others of how they can interact with us. And so I'm back to that. If you're waiting for a response, you are too late. You're the one who gives the permission with how you're showing up, how you're exuding confidence, how you're showing up competently. Are you exuding trust and invitation of space? Do you look approachable? Are you actually smiling at people, or are you sitting in the back scowling the whole time? All those things are the permission you give. And it's also the example of what your business is going to be like, because you're your number one business tool, right? You are the representation of your business. How people see you is how they're going to perceive your business is actually moving forward, what that interaction is going to be like. And that's where they start making choices. Do I want to be a part of this? Is this something that appeals to me or repels me? So how you show up directly affects the outcome of your business relationships and your business bottom line.
Kerstin, thank you so much. As Keelan said, it's always a pleasure to have you in studio, virtual and in person. And how you show up, you answered that at such a high level. And I know that I always take away something new to really be thinking about how I'm showing up, especially in the virtual platform that people are going to continue to use for the convenience. So thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure. I appreciate this opportunity to share. I always love being here with you two. You two are so amazing and rock stars in your own right. So thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate this opportunity.
You're welcome. I love it when she says we're rock stars, Keelan. We must be showing up right in our body language.
Yeah, that's right.
At least in front of Kerstin. All right. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We are your local rock star mortgage experts. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We look forward to talking more money with you next weekend, right here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW.